Shalom, Mishpaka. Thanks for joining me today on another episode of Yasplain Strange Doctrines, the Word Made Flesh, the Logos. We're going to talk about the Logos. We're here again at the Nazarene Dream here on my Facebook page. If you get a chance, go over there, check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This teaching, we're going to talk about the Word Made Flesh. So many have read in the first chapter in the Gospel according to John, and they have developed strange doctrines in an effort to explain something that they don't quite fully understand. They simply make a deductive, logical fallacy, assuming that parts of the whole are equal to the whole. They say that the word logos, or the word logos, is God, who came to earth in the flesh in the form of his Son. So is this true? Is this what the word is trying to tell us? Is this what the author meant? Well, let's examine. Here's what happens. John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, the Logos. And the Word, Logos, was with God. And the Word, Logos, was God. Skip a bunch of verses. John 1:14. And the Word, Logos, became flesh and dwelt among us. And we have seen his glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. There you go. Pretty simple, right? Fortunately, our English Bibles just don't do much justice for what's actually trying to be portrayed in the Scriptures. And it is understandable how that this fallacy could be made if one did not have depth or scope or knowledge of the rest of the Bible. From these verses, they say that God is Jesus, and Jesus was with God in the beginning, and Jesus/God became flesh. And they come up with all sorts of incomprehensible formulas that would otherwise be rejected in any mathematical community, as well as several different grammatically incoherent sentences with circular reasoning, all in an effort to explain how the Word was God and how God came in the flesh. At the same time, they're ignoring the overwhelming amount of scriptures that contradict this very ideology. Many doctrines, sermons, sects have been propagated from these couple of verses. They say that the Logos is God who emptied himself of his glory and strapped on an earth suit and became flesh. This kind of sounds like what the fallen angels did. Is that really what happened? Is that what the writer wants us to say, to understand? So prior to or at the time of the writing of the Gospel according to John being written, how was the word logos understood by the people in those days? Was this logos concept new? Actually, no. It was not a new concept. The way that the Western world understood the Logos was actually quite different than how the Hebrews understood it. And it's the same way to do. Folks in the West today, folks in the West understand the Logos differently than the actual intent, which was written in the Hebrew Scriptures. I'm reading here from Britannica.com. It says, regarding the Logos, it says logos, Greek word, reason or plan. The plural is the logoi. In Greek philosophy and theology, the divine reason implicit in the cosmos, ordering it and giving it form and meaning. Though the concept defined by the term logos is found in Greek, Indian, Egyptian, and Persian philosophical and theological systems, it became particularly significant in Christian writings and doctrines to describe or define the role of Jesus Christ as the principle of God active in the creation and the continuous structuring of the cosmos and in revealing the divine plan of salvation to man. It thus underlies the basic Christian doctrine of the pre-existence of Jesus. So there we go. Greek, Indian, Egyptian, Persian, philosophical, and theological systems syncretized into Christian theology. Here on Wikipedia concerning the Logos, the writing of Heraclitus was the first place where the word Logos was given special attention in ancient Greek philosophy. So this is 535, 475 BC. So this is all before the Gospel of John was written, right? So although Heraclitus seems to use the word with a meaning not significantly different from the way in which it was used in ordinary Greek of his time, for Heraclitus, Logos provided the link between rational discourse and the world's rational structure. The Logos holds always, but humans always prove unable to understand it. Well, that's pretty much what any Christian is going to tell you. You can't really understand God and Jesus and the Trinity and their relationship, right? For though in all things come into be in accordance with the Logos, humans are like the inexperienced when they experience such words and deeds, as I set out, distinguishing each in accordance with nature and saying how it is. But other people fail to notice what they do when awake, just as they forget when they do while asleep. So that's correct. Most people's Logos theology is rooted in the understanding derived from the Greek, Indian, Egyptian, and Persian philosophy. And I say understanding in jest because isn't that always where we end up when discussing trinities with people? No one can understand it. That's what it always ends up to. They have gone through great lengths to try and fit other verses into this idea and have made for themselves a different God. So how are we to understand that the Word became flesh? Verse 14, right? It says, and the Word, the Logos, became flesh and dwelt among us. How are we to understand that? Well, let's understand it from a Hebraic perspective. The equivalent word for Logos in the Hebrew is the word dabar, D-A-B-A-R, dabar. Brown, Driver, and Briggs' definition says it's speech, word, speaking, thing, speech, utterance, words. And the word Deuteronomy in the Hebrew, debarim, right? Debarim. It's the words. In the beginning, God spoke his word and he created the heavens and the earth. Psalms 33, 6 through 7. It says, by the word, Debar, of Yahuwah the heavens were made, and by the breath of his mouth all their host, all the host of heaven, the stars, constellations. He gathers the waters of the sea as a heap and puts the deeps in storehouses. 2 Peter 3:5. For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of Elohim the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. It's by the word of Debar, the word of Yahuwah, were the heavens made and all the host of them in his breath. So in the creation process, Yah placed the stars in the heaven to tell a story of a coming Redeemer. This story that was written in the heavens is his plan to save mankind. So the stars, they give light upon the earth and they send forth a message so that all of mankind can see and they can all read the story. That way all of mankind is without excuse to say that there is no creator, to say that they didn't know. Well, it's written. It's written for us in the heavenly scroll. And we see this in Psalms chapter 19, verses 1 through 7. It says, the heavens declare, that's the word safar, which is to scribe. It's written, connecting dots, making connections. The heavens declare the glory of Yahuwah, and the sky proclaim his handiwork. Day to day pours out speech, so there's a message. Night to night there reveals knowledge. There is no speech, nor are the words the debar whose voice is not heard. Their voice goes through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them he has set a tent or a tabernacle for the sun. So the sun goes through each constellation, which comes out like a bridegroom leaving his chamber, and like a strong man runs its course with joy. Its rising is from the ends of the heavens, and its circuit, sun makes a circuit to the end of them, and there is nothing hidden from its heat. So this is a picture of the constellations, and the sun goes through each house, each tabernacle. In my Father's house there are many mansions and many houses, many rooms. I go to prepare a place for you. Romans 10:18, it says, "But I ask, have they not heard? Indeed they have. For their voice has gone out to all the earth, and their words to the ends of the world." So the heavens are declaring the glory. They are written in the heavens, the plan of redemption. In the beginning, Yah had a plan. This plan was written in the heavens, and it was laid out in the stars. His debar, his word, his plan to redeem mankind was ultimately manifested in the flesh of Yahusha, and he dwelt among us. The strong man, the son, the bridegroom, he was born of a woman and was himself a 100% flesh and blood human being. He is the bridegroom in the story that rescues the bride from the dragon and brings her into the family. Many will try to rob him of his humanity and degrade the sacrifice that he made by twisting the scriptures and try to turn him into a Greek logos God-man. But this is just not supported in the whole of Scripture. I like the way the book of Yahweh translates John 1 just beautifully here. It says in Yochanan 1:1, "In the beginning was the plan of Yahweh, and the plan was with Yahweh, and the plan was Yahweh's. The same plan was in the beginning with Yahweh. All things were done according to it, and without it nothing was done that was done. In this plan was life, and that life was the light of mankind. Now that light shines in the darkness, but the darkness does not hold of it fit." So when we understand the Logos, the Debar, Hebraically, we find that the whole book fits together in the hand like a glove. By his word, Debar, he created the heavens and the earth, by and for the one whom he loved, his only beloved Son. The Son came into fruition, fulfilling the plan so that he could say, "It is finished." God's plan is finished. When we follow him, when we walk and carry out his plan in our flesh, because we are flesh, we are brothers, just like the Mashiach, just like he was, we too are sons and daughters of Yahuwah. We are the Logos, the Debar, manifest in the flesh, seen and read of all men. John chapter 1, verses 12 through 13. "But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of Elohim, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of flesh, nor of the will of man, but of Elohim." He must be born of Elohim. 2 Corinthians 3:3, "Being made manifest, that ye are an epistle," you're the written word, "of Mashiach, ministered by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living Elohim, not in tables of stone, but in tables in flesh, and that are hearts of flesh." So we can clearly see, when we don't focus on the Greek and the Roman concepts, the Indian and the Persians and Egyptians, these philosophies, these ideas of the Word in the flesh, those are all foreign to the Scriptures. The Hebrews did not think like this. They think of the Logos, the Debar, as his plan, his way to redeem us. And so that plan was manifest and came into being, finally was fulfilled through the Son. The first Adam, sin, death entered into the world. The second Adam, we are redeemed from it, right? So legally, it had to be a man. It had to be 100% human being to redeem us back from what happened at the fall of Adam and Eve. So I pray that just this sharing blessed you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you have any comments, as always, leave them down in the box. Love you. Bless you. Bye.
Yeah, explaining. Yeah, explaining.